Everyone seems convinced that GTA 6 is going to be a modern Bonnie and Clyde story, but I don't think so. I think Rockstar has already told us exactly how this relationship is going to fall apart. When Rockstar introduced Jason and Lucia, something immediately stood out to me. Their goals don't actually match. At first, it looks like they do. They're both criminals, they're both on the run, they're both trying to survive. But if you actually read Rockstar's descriptions carefully, they're chasing completely different futures. Let's start with Jason. Rockstar describes him as someone who's basically been trapped in crime his entire life. He grew up around hustlers and crooks, he joined the army trying to escape that life, and somehow, he ends up right back where he started anyway. Everything about Jason's description gives off the feeling of someone who's exhausted. Rockstar literally says he wants an easy life. Now, compare that to Lucia, and her description couldn't be more different. She learned to fight at a very young age, and she went to prison protecting her family. And then, as we saw in trailer 1, she gets another chance. But, instead of slowing down, she's quote-unquote only making smart moves from here. And that doesn't sound like somebody who's trying to get redemption. Then Rockstar tells us exactly what Lucia wants. She wants the life her mother dreamed about. But instead of waiting for it, she's prepared to take matters into her own hands. She's committed to her plan, no matter what it takes. Jason wants peace, and Lucia wants progress. Very different things. And I think that's where the relationship starts falling apart. Imagine the two of them become successful, they pull off huge scores, make money, survive, and eventually Jason might look around and start to think that, maybe we've done enough, maybe we can finally live and disappear. But what if Lucia isn't finished? What if enough doesn't exist for her? That's where I think Lucia could betray Jason. Not because she never loved him, but because his moral code eventually becomes an obstacle. Maybe Jason refuses to kill someone, maybe he wants to walk away. Maybe he wants to stop being risky. Meanwhile, Lucia still sees the bigger picture. If she's truly willing to do whatever it takes, there could become a point where Jason is the only thing standing between her and the future she envisioned. At that point, cutting ties could become just another smart move. But that's not to say I don't actually think Jason is completely innocent either, possibly. Since Jason is chasing that simple life, the goal could push him toward betrayal too. Imagine the police offer him immunity, or witness protection, or a deal that lets him just disappear forever. If Jason has to spend his entire life trying to escape crime, then what happens when someone finally gives him an exit? Does he stay loyal, or does he take it? Maybe he doesn't betray Lucia because he stops loving her. Maybe he betrays her because he's simply tired. Tired of running, tired of violence, tired of looking over his shoulder every single day. For someone whose dream is peace, walking away might actually make perfect sense. And that's why I think Rockstar deliberately wrote these characters with opposing motivations, because Jason wants to be free, and Lucia's chasing success. And while those goals may line up at the beginning, eventually there's going to come a point where Jason wants to stop climbing and Lucia wants to keep going. One detail from Lucia's description really stands out. Rockstar says a life with Jason could be her way out. Basically what I think that means is he could be her way out in not necessarily part of her future, not necessarily the love of her life, just a way out for her, as in like a disposable way out. And they also say that Lucia could either be the best or worst thing that ever happened to Jason. And that's interesting because it doesn't tell us whether Jason destroys his own future or whether Lucia destroys it for him. Either interpretation works. And honestly, I think that's exactly what Rockstar wants us wondering. Maybe Lucia sacrifices Jason to achieve her dream. Maybe Jason abandons Lucia to finally live the peaceful life he's always wanted. Maybe they both betray each other at different points in the story. Whatever happens, I don't think GTA 6 is ultimately about two criminals against the world. I think it's about two people who start on the same path, only to realize they're walking toward completely different destinations. And if that's true, eventually, one of them is going to have to choose their future or each other. These are just my theories because we know Rockstar likes to do the betrayal theme in their games. But y'all let me know down in the comments below what you think. And let me know if you enjoyed this video. And if so, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe.